Hello and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am one of your hosts, Bahamut. With me is Jason. How are you doing? Are you ready for this Grand Finals?
Oh, I don't think I could be any more ready for a Grand Finals than tonight. The A Division Finals. Two Titans here in the Nexus Gaming Series. And best of all, Baha, it's a best of 5 series.
Oh, we are in for a treat. We're going to be getting some wonderful games this evening. And then just really quickly, just to kind of catch up chat, that, you know, they don't see these things. The coin flip was won by Team Freelo. They went ahead and chose map pick. The maps that were banned out was BOE by Map Freelo, or by Team Freelo, and a Greek Economy took out Cursed Hollow. Tomb of Spider Queen was then chosen by Team Freelo, giving first pick over to a Greek Economy. That is kind of where we're at with these two teams. This is basically the top of the West and the top of the, not even basically, this is the top of the East and the top of the West versus each other here, and I can't wait to get into this Div A final.
Yeah, it'd be hard to make the argument that we didn't get the top 2 teams from each of the A-Divs. These two teams, literally #1 seeds in the playoffs, made it through all 3 of their respective playoff rounds. And here we go, #1 versus #1. But the draft is already flying here, Baha.
And so you and I were talking last night, actually, you know, just like, oh, what should we strategize about? Like, what things should we both look into so we can kind of talk about these comps? And I was kind of skimming through some drafts that they had, and we're starting to see some similarities. A lot of Garrosh I saw in a Greek Economy in my research, as well as some Genji bans on top of that. And then actually Team Freelo taking away the Maiev often, but also the funny thing, both teams really hyper-focused on that Blaze for the solo lane. So seeing the high priority in the Blaze here on the side of Team Freelo, that must be kind of like leaning to that comfort pick. But I like the Gul'dan rolled up with that for that wave clear in the rotations. And then the response from a Greek Economy to have the Hanzo for the poke and the vision, as well as Jaina for the wave clear. I think both these teams are setting themselves up really strong for this first match.
Yeah, a lot of wave clear on both sides. Can't help but notice the Genji ban right out the gate. Both of these teams utilizing that hero pretty well. So for the fact that a Greek Economy didn't want it for themselves, for their star player Cookie, means that they're looking for something else. The Garrosh and the Jaina tell me that they're looking for these isolated throw and kills. They're going to draft some CC down the road. And there we see that Freelo recognizing that too. They're going to take Malfurion off the table.
And I like that. I mean, the combination of the Garrosh, and you said it exactly, is they're looking for some setups around that Garrosh with the Jaina, and then that Malfurion with the root would be so powerful. But at the same time, you still have to consider that Stukov is available, and Stukov is still very viable. And on this map, in my opinion, is very strong. I think it's a okay. My Skype all of a sudden just said yo in the middle of it. Okay, all right, that was weird. But we are going to be having the Malfurion band out on the side of Team Freelo, and a Greek Economy going to take away that Tracer, not wanting to deal with that consistent sustained damage throughout these rotations, but grabbing the Lunara Deckard themselves.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised about the Deckard. You know, you mentioned Stukov as a possibility here for a Greek Economy. I figured For Freelo, it would be a pick one, ban the other between the Mouth and the Stukov, but not giving any respect to the Stukov. To be fair, he does give some silence and CC potential for that blow up, but not exactly what you would like in that, because he doesn't have any sort of lockdown for the Garrosh throw. But we'll see if that's where they go. I still think it's their best option. Meanwhile, Lunara, Gul'dan coming out, so just heavy amounts of sustain coming out here for Team Freelo.
And there's the Stukov. Like that's the combo right into it. Like the sustain is there, but at the same time they've got I wouldn't say like counter engage. Well, no, they do have the counter engage with that Stukov, but they're not really. It doesn't really seem they'd be going heavily into the dive, at least pre-10 on the side of Team Freelo. But they could still run it with the Blaze going in. You have Lunara able to get that leaping strike. But then we get a last pick Leoric, and I do really like this. The wave clear is really strong. Into the Blaze, I think, is great sustain. Leoric can be in that lane a little bit longer, forcing Blaze back more often, as well as once you get to that later half, Entombs have so much set up with this Jaina, Stukov, Hanzo. I mean, you get a Ring of Frost, you put down an Entomb. There's just anything kind of really sets... Every player on this team sets each other up. You know, Garrosh gets the taunt, you put down the Entomb. The Entomb goes down, Jaina gets a Ring of Frost. There's a lot of really good synergy here on the side of Greek Economy, but they go ahead and grab this Joanna on the side of Team Freelo.
Yeah, so we still needed the main tank for Freelo. They're going to go with the Johanna, probably the next best pick here. ETC also, of course, an option against the Garrosh with that face melt, but I really like what a Greek Economy did at the end of this draft. We knew they wanted the Stukov. They wanted something that pairs well with that. And the Entomb into the Lurking Arm is a combo that we see used quite often. Kind of a pseudo buried alive right from level 10. So we'll see if they want to utilize that. And overall, I got to say, two pretty hyper meta drafts. Tons of wave clear on both sides. A little bit of a fight over sustain versus blow up and isolation. But there's going to be a clash of two really good drafts with two really good teams.
That's it. I mean, it's really going to come down to the plays that are made between these two teams, and having the best of both regions. That is the most exciting part about all this. But we are going to go ahead and let's get into this game number one between these two teams. On the left-hand side, we are going to be having Team Freelo with Richard Gear going to be on the Deckard Cain, Skygum going to be on the Lunara, Hollis going to be on the Joanna, Tythel going to be on the Blaze, and Blackout on the Gul'dan.
And on the right, your A East champions, a Greek Economy. We're going to have Team Captain Cookie on the Hanzo, Olive Farmer on Garrosh, Oscar going to be playing Jaina, Bishop Mist on the Leoric, and Decade going to be playing Stukov.
As we get into this, we have all 5 members from both sides going into that mid lane for this crash. We have the vision coming up from Lunara in the top and Hanzo doing the same thing in the bottom here. But at this point, we're just going to continue to have the teams just play this waiting game until the minions crash, and then we'll start to see the rotations between top and mid. Solo laners already kind of starting to make their way into that bottom lane.
Yeah, right away, I expect to see the 4-man rotates here. And it's interesting, again, that clash of styles. The sustain from Team Freelo is going to probably give them the slightly superior wave clear, going to allow them to poke and prod, but they have to be careful. It's all about positioning for them. If they step too close to Olive Farmer, he's going to be able to make him pay with this CC combo. But early, Team Freelo doing a nice job of clearing and going to be getting just a little bit of a lead here in the rotation here.
And I do like that they're having Hollis anchor for the team really, really well here. Just making sure that they're providing that vision, also safe rotations for the friendly team to actually still utilize that center point. They're not stepping too far forward. And in bottom, we have this Blaze Leo matchup, and it's kind of going as expected. They're going to be crashing in this mid for quite some time. We'll check in on them here and there, but the main fun, I guess, is going to be the stacking, which is between the top and mid, as well as they're looking for those 51st gems and start to get that little bit of push going in their favor.
Yeah, and for a Greek Economy, I feel like a lot of this is going to come down to the skill shots here from Oscar and Decade. They're going to need to help Olive Farmer out here with their slows to try and help him get to some of the more squishy targets. If they can get a slow onto the Gul'dan, onto the Lunara, Olive Farmer will actually stand a chance of getting up in there, getting the toss play, and maybe trying to disrupt this quick rotation and this heavy wave clear from Freelo.
And that's actually exactly what you're just talking about, but Hollis was able to use the Iron Skin there getting out just fine, but a lot of slows, a lot of silence, and also some poke going out from Cookie there. Hollis almost falling, and we still have a deathless game as these rotations continue between top and mid.
Yeah, and they kind of did it backwards there. They did the toss on Johanna, who you normally don't want, but then they utilized all of the skill shots, all of these slows, the silence, to make it hard for Johanna to get out. Now, of course, Hollis is just fine. He's healed up. Richard Gere's got plenty of sustained heals for him. But later in the game, as this stacks up more and more, as Jaina is able to complete that level 1 talent and get more of the sustain from the level 7 reset on the Frostbolt, could be a little bit more dangerous for Hollis in these situations.
And I'm actually looking at some of the talents here at level 1, and the one thing I noticed is that we have the Sapphire coming out from the Deckard Cane, and with that increased slowing, that it's actually going to pair very, very well into the Lunara. I think it's 13 talent with the Unfair Advantage, where poison damage on slowed heroes is increased. So I definitely think that, you know, there's some late game synergy here on the side of Team Freelo that is really going to start popping off, as we did talk a little bit about that in draft, where their dive can kind of expand a little bit here. But at this time, I do think that the lanes are fairly even matched. No real big gem losses between the two teams.
Yeah, pretty interesting talent at level 1 as well on the Hanzo. We do have Cookie going after the target practice at level 1. So what he's looking for is a little bit more long-ranged poke, trying to stay a little safer, keep away from these sustained heroes so he can still get that damage and that wave clear out. But he's, of course, going to also have to eventually rotate down to try and get some hits onto Blaze if he really wants to complete this talent.
That is true. You do need to hit every single hero, I believe, 3 times. So it's one of those talents that you really need to make sure you're making that rotation, you're landing your skill shots, and you're also continually getting that poke up. But you make a great point that extended range really might play into the later half here. If they do start to play a little bit divier on the side of Team Freelo, they might want to play that Hanzo further back, because Hanzo is fairly squishy, especially in these situations. But we have Hollis taking a bunch of damage in that silence. No kill still for either team.
Yeah, still able to get a lot of poke damage out there. Cookie has already finished the first part of that quest, and actually now has 4. The only one he'll need is, of course, the Blaze, still in bot lane. But looking at the gem turn in, 45 so far for the side of Freelo, 36 turned in, though, of course, Greek Economy has those extra gems. They just haven't quite been able to hit the turn-ins quite as hard. But both teams inching closer and closer to this first gem Webweaver turn-in.
And getting that first Webweaver return in, it's not the biggest thing in the world. It's 5 minutes in. These things scale per minute. But the thing still is you can really get that siege started. And if you can start to open up Tomb of the Spider Queen, that's the big thing that you want to look for as a team, is opening up this map more and more, pressuring the enemy team further back, and it becomes a harder game for them because, yes, it is a small map. The rotations are very short, but at the same time, if you don't have anything to retreat to, that keep is a very long way away when you're in the middle of the lane, basically.
Yeah, really the dream play here is to get these first Webweavers, use that to snowball a level advantage, and then be able to block until you get the level 10s and really be able to snowball the map. But we do also have the change to these towers, where the front walls don't give quite as much XP. A lot of that's been put back into the main forts. So that's why I think why we're seeing the 4-man push here in mid for the side of Freelo. They're looking to push in and try and get themselves a little bit closer to actual fort damage, rather than just focusing only on the front wall.
Yeah, I like that play, just opening that up a little bit more so they just have that little bit of extra retreat. But the other thing too is the Webweaver doing God's work here, taking out the well, but we do have a stun going to be going on to Gul'dan here. Toss going to be going on to Blackout, and that will be the kill going over to Greek Economy. And it looks like they'll go ahead, back off, and get this clear, and they won't lose a fort, but they did take a little bit of siege damage here.
A rare overextension from Team Freelo. Gul'dan caught a little bit too far forward. That's exactly what Olive Farmer and the members of a Greek Economy are going to be looking to take advantage of all game, and that's going to be your first blood here for Game 1 in the Division A Finals.
It looks like they're going for more, as the Indomitable is going to be used. They go ahead and get the Condemn onto Olive Farmer. Gonna just back right off, get the clears once again, and Oscar looking for that turn-in. Gonna go ahead and actually not gonna be getting it anytime soon, as the poke continues to come out from Team Freelo. A Greek Economy looking for this turn-in. Doesn't look like it's going to be happening anytime soon. The other thing to note, Team Freelo only 12 gems off from a turn-in themselves.
Yeah, you talk about a great team for getting the interrupts. Blackout, meanwhile, tossed here, taking a ton of damage from the Jaina on the back end. Gul'dan goes down. Second kill of the game. Nice root here from Richard Gere, trying to slow the advance of a Greek economy, but it's not going to be enough. Blaze is going to go down. Richard Gere is going to go down. The toss onto Oscar, going to get him back into position, and that's going to be a 3-0 as a Greek economy really started to take advantage of their comp in this game.
Those 3 kills was and is huge for the members of a Greek economy. They put a deficit into the bank account for Team Freelo. That's one thing, because they were actually fairly close for a Webby return themselves. This will also push out their lanes. They don't need to worry about top. We can kind of see in the minimap it's stacked up a bit. They also have Hansa going up there to make sure they get that clear. Also with that level 4, that will help out as well. But this Webby return in, it's 10-10. But now that they have everyone back and the death timers are so low, you know, they got those kills. They got a little bit of experience advantage here. Hanzo are going to come out, Blessed Shield as well. Just some stuns and some backing off. But teams are looking pretty healthy, and actually, Team Freelo is going to defend this very, very well.
Yeah, Cookie looking for the engage, not quite finding it there with the unaided Dragon Arrow. Everyone from the side of Team Freelo able to sidestep that one. But we are going to see the rotation to bot here. All 5 members of a Greek economy looking to see if they can find anybody out. Typhel is able to get out there with the charge, and now it looks like the defense is good this time around for Team Freelo as they keep the structure advantage here.
And it's like, and it's not even the biggest. Oh, a toss onto Bishop. They go ahead and get these root and entomb onto one of the members. Lunara is actually just sitting over in this corner, not able to do much with that Ring of Frost that came down. But so many members are so low on the side of Greek economy. Is this going to be anyone falling as they get the Hanzo arrow just blankly shooting out right in front of them, but they are going to get the Horrify as well. Leoric will be falling here. Blessed Shield going to come out onto 3 members, and it looks like they get the toss, but it won't be enough. Olive Farmer trying to do their best to save the team. They lose 2, and it looks like Team Freelo will start to push up these lanes a little bit harder and get that turn in.
Yeah, big response from Freelo. Not only to defend against that Web Weaver turn in pretty well there, but they recover from that 4-0 start. They get a couple of kills. Huge Horrify coming out from Blackout there to isolate the Leoric and really start the death chain there to get themselves a couple of kills. Now they'll get a second Web Weaver turn in, and they'll look to try and get to that 13 talent too.
Now, at this point, the other thing that I would like to see from the members of Team Freelo is the pressure of top lane. You've already got a fort that's really, really low. That's your boss lane. It's considered a top win condition on this map, at least in my opinion, and in the games I've casted. But it looks like they're going to want to go for that mid lane. They actually get a huge Hanzo arrow from Greek Economy and a couple members of Team Freelo. There is going to be the Deckard root that comes out. Bishop is going to go ahead and just Wraith walk away. There will be the massive shove onto Hollis. They make this disengage, and they're really starting to push this back, but they've gone ahead and just gone, and they said top lane is gone. We'll let that just push, and we're going to defend bottom, but Olive Farmer not in the best spot, going to be getting chunked here.
We are going to see the ring coming out. The bunker, very good in response to get them all out. The silence coming out of the bunker. But at the end of the day, it's Garrosh that goes down first. And the members of Team Freelo pushing in with this Web Weaver, looking for more. Cookie taking all kinds of poison damage. He's going to be able to get back and hopefully get a heal here from Decade, depending on the bounce. Okay, the Bio Kill Switch comes out just in time to heal him. But I love this call from Team Freelo. They go to mid. They make sure that the Greek Economy doesn't have that easy clear with the camp. And meanwhile, the Web Weavers are pushing in the other lane.
Well, with that, they'll actually go ahead, they'll get the clear onto this, and the one thing that I will have to say, I'm just kind of skimming through some of the talents, the one thing that's interesting to me is Lunar went for the Thornwood Vines, and it's not something we often see, but I do kind of like the idea that they're going to utilize that to get the kind of the pressure up with that Gul'dan as well. They're able to do a lot of good work with that, and just kind of like siege from that backline and just continually pressure with the Web Weaver push.
Yeah, I think this pretty much had to be Thornwood Vines, Baha. At the end of the day, you don't want to Leaping Strike over Garrosh's head and do his work for him, putting you in the back of this blow-up comp over on the side of a Greek Economy. The poke and the stall potential coming out onto these turn-ins can be really nice for the Thornwood Vines, but also just that spread damage. That's kind of what they're looking for, is spread damage, making it difficult for Stukov to keep everybody alive. And then once they find they've got a couple of members low and they can single somebody out, they'll throw down the Horrify, They'll throw out the Blaze Charge, maybe even the Blessed Shield, trying to isolate and finish off some targets. So if they don't really have your traditional finisher like a Genji, like a Tracer, they're going to have to depend on those heroics and the CC of those frontliners to really be able to seal up some of these kills.
I mean, the lanes are so pressured up. Like, I'm just trying to think, like, how do you get close enough to get that turn in? They have 61 out of the 55 they need, and 15 to 13, like, they've got to take the fight now. If they delay this any longer, that just means Team Freelo gets to 16, and they have to turtle up once again for the next 2-ish levels. So I like that they're going to try and make this aggressive play, but I don't know if it's going to work out for them, as the Indomitable is going to be used right away. Bless Shield's going to connect onto 3 members here. We get the Condemn in. That will be the Horrify pushing the Garrosh away, as Tythel will go ahead and jump in here with that jet propulsion, but Olive Farmer a little bit low, going to get poked by Skygum. The Gul'dan is going to get so much damage with that corruption. There will be the Lornado coming out from the Deckard Cain, but they make a clean disengage here. They don't lose anyone, but they don't get a turn in at all.
Yeah, it's definitely a calculated risk there for a Greek economy. They wanted to be able to force before the level 16s come in for Team Freelo. They gave it a shot, but we talk a lot in Heroes of the Storm about burden of execution, and the comp from a Greek economy, very effective, but it's not easy to pull off. It's very dependent on big AoE stun and root combos. It's sort of wombo combo-y, and they don't quite find it there with the ring. They're going to have to back up now, let Team Freelo get 16, let them slowly get closer to a turn-in, and try and work towards the next level and a half to get 16s themselves.
They're just going to have to do exactly that. They have to turtle up. They're going to grab this camp, which will allow some pressure into that lane. A little bit of breathing room here, but we also see Team Freelo going for that boss right away. They're just like, I don't think they're going to fight us without 16s. Actually... They're rotating. They don't have.
What is happening here?
It's a sliver. Okay, they have the 16, and it looks like, you know what? They're just going to go ahead and say they're probably on boss. We'll get the turn in, and at least that's a good thing for a Greek economy. This is a really, really good buffer for them, but we have the Blaze getting chunked a little bit here. There is kind of the zone on the Stukov, as it looks like they will go ahead and grab the boss. The bunker comes down. There will be the Ring of Frost right underneath it, but it's not timed out very well. Hanzo Arrow will connect. Blaze will be falling first in this. Boss going to get a stun onto a couple members here, as the Entomb was kind of blocking a couple from making this rotation out. They do get the counter kill onto the Jaina, but there also will be the Horrify out, and Olive Farmer's so low here, it just needs a couple auto attacks. That will be the Thornwood Vines getting that kill, and they just go ahead and they back off. They lose one the side of Team Freelo, but they are able just to back off and get the clear on these lanes, as they have a boss pushing top.
All right, MVPs for that fight, Baja. Both of them are AI. You got the boss stunning out the silence from Stukov on the back end there, and the bunker lasting just long enough that the ring wasn't able to hit. So just a little bit off here in game number 1 from a Greek economy. They're so close to having these really big combos, these really amazing team fights, and being able to pull out all the stops and beat the odds. But they're just not quite executing, and I don't know. We'll see if that continues as we go on further in the series.
That is true. I mean, it is looking a little shaky, but at the same time, it is the grand finals. So I would be a little nervous too. Maybe just getting some nerves shaken out. I mean, it's game 1. It is a best of 5 series, so you can have a little bit of a hiccup here and there. Bunker actually going to be pulled out very, very quickly there, but that will be turning in favor for the members of Team Freelo. But 16s have also been achieved for Greek economy, but Team Freelo wants to take this fight now, and I think they're going to get it.
Paulus making the call, going in with the Blessed Shield. The silence is down. Nobody interrupting Decade on the back end, but they're just not too worried about it. Skigum getting low, though. He's going to end up going down on the back end of this. We have the Blizzard going as well, and on the chase is a Greek economy. They get the stun down onto Blackout. The slows are there. They're going to pick up a second kill. Now the damage is down, but Tythla going back in, getting the counter kill against Hanzo, but he will pay with his life, and that's going to end up being a 1-for-3 exchange in favor of a Greek economy.
And I gotta say that Gul'dan just dropping so much damage in that backline, and then just Blaze diving in and just stopping them from getting away, getting closer to their healer, doing anything. And that did secure the Hanzo kill, because as we saw earlier, Hanzo is so susceptible to the Gul'dan damage. That's why we saw at level 1 Hanzo taking that extra range to play this further away, because if Gul'dan gets 2 of those corruption stacks on him, it's almost his entire health bar becomes damage over time, it seems. So definitely wanting to play that a little bit further back. They're really trying to punish that Hanzo, But at the same time, by doing that, they're really stepping forward on the side of Team Freelo, and that unfortunately lost them 3 members in that fight.
Yeah, that was a really good time for a Greek economy to win a team fight. The web weavers had just been turned in, and so Team Freelo pretty much throwing away 60 gems on the fact that they just did not perform in that team fight well enough to be able to take advantage of their web weavers. So now the seesaw of momentum going back and forth now is in favor of a Greek economy. They're going to look to invade here, but the cap is going to be grabbed by Freelo, and the end gauge coming in on the other side.
Olive Farmer getting really low here. There will be the Hanzero that comes out as well. The Tonka's out, but that will be Garrosh falling first in this. We do have the Horrify as well as the Ring of Frost right underneath that. We have so many members so low here. The Stasis comes out from Jaina, and that is going to be another kill in favor for Team Freelo, and they get the massive shove. Decade gonna get a little bit of healing, but the tower is going to be doing all the work for them. They get that kill. Bishop going to be falling as well. The only one left is Cookie. The only one left alive is Cookie, and they also have a siege camp available to take, and also already pushing in mid. I would say, you know, you get this camp, you rotate someone into top so you get that top keep to have that catapult pressure, and then you force mid and just try and get as much value as quickly as possible, pushing yourselves into 20 here.
Yeah, the death timer is still a little bit low here, but seesaw back and forth we go. This could easily be a double keep play. If I am Team Freelo, I'm looking to grab this mid keep real quick, rotate up to the top, get the top keep, and you look at the timer, the boss, 45 seconds away. So they could make that their next destination. Neither team anywhere close to a gem turn-in, but level 20s are going to be grabbed as soon as this keep goes down.
And Lunar actually doing a little bit of poke damage with that Thornwood Vine in top lane, solidifying that top lane keep, and they grab the mid lane. That's a huge buff for the members of Team Freelo here as they start to get a big momentum behind them. They don't have enough for turn-in, but realistically, they can just prep their lanes and just set themselves up for maybe getting a gank onto a Greek economy or catch one member out of rotation. But if I'm Greek economy, I'm turtling up and I'm not going past that keep line, essentially.
Yes, Freelo, though, at the same time, can play this as slow as and methodical as they want to. They have 2 keeps down. All these lanes are constantly going to be pressuring now as the first catapults are now walking their way out into lane. They're even pushing in the bot lane here, so they'll have a little bit of pressure as the members of a Greek economy are going to have to collapse into this bot for the defense.
We are going to be having... Okay, so it's 20 to 18. We have some roots going out. The Indomitable going to be used right away. We have the Lornado starting to push a couple of people around, zoning very, very well. We have also the Siege Giants pushing down here, but the sounds will come out. That will be the Ring of Frost connecting. Bunker comes down as well. The Entomb is going to be there. So many members are low. The Horrify comes out as well. Garrosh will be falling here. Leork will be falling here. That is both tanks down on the side of Greek economy. The Blaze is so low. They're going to continue to get poked from Blackout, but I think, Jason, this is going to be another keep in favor for Team Freelo.
Such a massive Horrify there, once again making the plays. Blackout, and we are going to see the third keep going down. The stiff arm coming out from Decade, trying to give him a little bit of room to breathe, and they're even looking to maybe chase against Typhel here, but again, 2 members down. Bishop Mist will be back soon, but this could easily be boss play, and now backs against the walls for a Greek economy. What can they do here to try and even this out?
They can definitely avoid getting near the Gul'dan, as we saw once again so much damage going out onto that Jaina. And that's the big thing is they need to play around some of these abilities, and it's really, really hard because, well, they're throwing them really far into the backline. The thing to consider here, though, 21 to 19. I was like, can you potentially even evade this? And they because I was like, there's no Horrify, so they do have a Lornado though, so that they have that. And I was thinking that they might be able to invade this. Not going to be happening. That will be a boss going over in favor for Team Freelo as they try to poke in on this. Not going to be happening, though. Bishop Mist in the backline here might not be working out.
Yeah, all the members of Freelo really need to do is stop the backs here. 2 catapults now on core, chunking down as the boss is slowly walking its way in that direction. Huge root there from Richard Greer on the Deckard on the back end, but Bishop Mist is the one on the back side of this team fight that's going to end up falling to the poison there from Skigum. And now all the side of Team Freelo need to do is just waltz on up this top lane to grab game number 1.
And they will start to do that. They do get Decade really low here. The Ring of Frost will come out onto Skygam, and it won't connect, and they get the kill onto the Stukov as well as the Garrosh and the Jaina. And it looks like this is going to be game number 1 going over in favor of Team Freelo. GG, well played.
West strikes first as Freelo comes out very complete game. And, you know, you look at a lot of that, the seesawing, the team fighting, where is the big difference? Where did Freelo get the big advantage? And really, it was in taking advantages when they could to actually get structures, to get ahead in the game, to get the extra XP off of those structures and snowball. Where the side of a Greek economy, they had good team fights, but they didn't have amazing wave clear. And when they won those fights, they really didn't have much of an opportunity to push structures to try and get themselves closer to the win.
I gotta say, actually, I can't say it because you said it best. Actually, the seesaw, the teeter totter, you put it so well. The back and forth between these two teams was so much fun to watch. The early game looked so strong for a Greek economy. They came out swinging. They had a lot of good setup, but unfortunately, it was just denied in that later half. Gul'dan getting so much damage as well as Lunara. The damage over time that came out from the members of Team Freelo is kind of disgusting if you think about it. I mean, if you go back and look at any of the fights where Jaina was hit by corruption or Lunara, like it was always so much poison damage sitting on them, and just the Stukov could not keep up with the damage that was coming out, and unfortunately that was really what was eating away at a lot of these team fights. They would be really strong, but then unfortunately, you know, they couldn't finish it off because there was always poison damage on them. They had to retreat and get healing from that.
Yeah, and really good CC setup overall from Team Freelo. They play very well as a team. That's definitely one of their strengths. And they use the CC from Johanna, Blaze, and Deckard to really be able to set up the kills, set up the damage, and finish off the killing blows for Gul'dan and Lunara. You look at just the pure stats: 72k damage from Cookie on Hanzo, 65k damage from Jaina on Oscar. They have the higher damage. You would think they could get more kills, but even though they had the higher numbers, they just didn't have the finishing potential and the finishing execution that we saw from Freelo, who had much less hero damage, but double the kills.
That's the insane part to me, is like they had such a strong early game, and you would have thought that they would have really started to just apply that pressure over and over and over and over again. But unfortunately, it just 10s hit and it just stopped, it seemed. Or maybe it was actually even a little bit further. It was more like 13s almost, where we really started to see the momentum shift. And then we started to see play after play really working out in favor for the members of Team Freelo here. And we're currently just waiting to find out which do they want, map pick or first pick here. We'll get that going here in just a second. I guess while we have the time, we can go game percent. I'm seeing something in Twitch chat, and I'm like, hashtag game percent. Game percent? What is that?
I don't even.
I was just like, did one of us say that? Or either way, I can go ahead and at least game percent. So at least during this time while we're waiting for this, I can at least show the Nexus Gaming Series MVPs for Division A.
There you go.
So we can at least show this. We'll start with Team 3. Also, shout out to Murda for giving me basically the basic template for this so I could just dump all the information in, as well as I think Jackster, who basically put all of this together. So I'm not going to read through all the names. I'll throw them up, and while we wait for so we're getting confirmation from production. Ara typoed game hashtag game 5. That's why. Okay. No, I like hashtag game percent. Like I really want to go to game percent.
Game ampersand, maybe.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I'm getting confirmation of what map it is going to be. Let me go ahead and I'll just swap this over. We'll at least show the Division A West and East Team 2s. As we just go ahead, and I got to mark a couple things down here, so at least I keep track of where we're going, who chose what. Oh, thank you, by the way, just really quickly, thanks to everyone who is out here watching the game, supporting the channel. Also Murda, who rated the channel. Thank you for that support, my friend. Yeah, thank you all for being here on this wonderful Thursday night, enjoying some great heroes, as we will also show the Team 1 East and West, and then we will get set up for our Game 2 in just a second. Let me also make sure that I am updating the scoreboard, as Team Freelo won that game. And then, okay, cool. So, second map is going to be this. Let's also save that. And then I think we can get ourselves set up here for game 2. Let's go ahead and pull it back to our camera so we can show our pretty faces while we get the lobby going.
Yeah, I have a cat that's joined me here for game number 2. So she's nice and comfortable. I'm good and comfortable. And oh boy, this next map, this is going to be very interesting between these two teams.
I really, really do. I mean, we can say which it is. It is. We're going to be going to Volskaya Foundry, which is the map choice for a Greek economy. Let me go ahead and just invite the teams into this game, and then we'll get ourselves set up. Bishop. No, I need Hollis. There you are. Invite to game. Right? Did I get him? Okay, there we go. But yeah, no, we're going to be going to Volskaya Foundry, and this is I wouldn't say the slowest map. Swap team. There we go. But it definitely is. There's some pacing to it, and you really, really want to look at kind of your control point B and C, in my opinion, are really the gameplay points. Control point A gets you your standard gate and pretty much top lane well. But after that, we've seen a lot of teams really kind of expand beyond that once they hit that B and C marker. Even when we get to the 4th Trigger Left Protector, it's almost like at that point, whoever gets the 4th one really realistically can walk through almost any sort of defense and then just take the game almost.
Right, and these things are more stronger than they used to be in the early game, but they also scale much harder than they used to. So they're just very, very scary at the end of the game. And especially with that change to the XP on the walls, you don't get as much of an advantage off the first one. We've even seen some teams even going as far as going back to the old strategy of trying to get split push, not putting a huge emphasis on the first one. But at the end of the day, the first control point is in mid. So it's not like you can double soak. You have to rotate, way too far. You can get a little bit of extra side soak if you're not contesting right at that point. But all about sustain on this map, all about point control. If you build a good team that can turtle up and have a good defense, that's a big win. And a lot about wave clear and just in general team fighting potential, because this is one of the most team fight heavy maps in the game.
That is really, really true, because you just have these points that can go on for almost forever, because if no one's standing on it, it just defaults back to neutral, and then you'll have to have someone actually come in and stand on the point. So you definitely need to make sure you're also drafting around the fact that you're going to need sustained fights, and that's the big thing here. I mean, we see a lot of Alex Straza for that point control. We see Decker Kane. Decker Kane's playing a really, really strong into a lot of these situations. But, we see like things like Rhaegar kind of fall off because the chain heal isn't as strong as maybe getting the pustule up from like a Stukov, where you can get a mass heal. And then same thing with like Malfurion. So we're seeing some of, I wouldn't say just, like the top healers, but we're just seeing a lot of the same healers because they work across all maps. So why not practice something that works almost everywhere, and then you can run it every single time.
Yeah, I almost expect Deckard to be pretty highly contested in this next map. Richard Gere played an amazing Deckard last game, and he is a boss on this map. You can get to that control point just a little bit early, spread out some of your potions and get it ready. Kind of like the old strat with either Gazlo or Probius, but with a healer, which is actually viable. So there you go.
That's true. Well, we are going to get ourselves going here into game 2. We are going to be heading into Volskaya Foundry in just a second. I just had to hit the button. There we go. We'll be going into our next map here. Let's get into this draft between these two teams. If you missed anything, let me just quickly catch you up as we get into this into these first bans. Excuse me. Coin flip was won by Team Freelo. They went for map pick. They banned out Battlefield of Eternity. Curse Hollow was banned out by a Greek economy. Freelo chose Tomb of Spider Queen for that first game and won it. Now we're going to be going to Volskaya Foundry, the choice of a Greek economy, giving first pick over to Team Freelo. And is this where we see... Ooh, they're actually going to get rid of that Garrosh. I was like, do we see any sort of priority under the healers, or we're going to get that Garrosh banned out right away? They don't want to deal with that threat, and you put it perfectly on a brawly map like this. That kind of repositioning, that's really, really detrimental to a team.
Yeah, overall, you don't want that zone control that he brings. He's basically a walking threat, Garrosh. You just can't go anywhere near him unless you're a tank that has an escape. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. We see in a lot of these best of 3, best of 5 series that it starts to build a little meta of its own. You know, we start to see more game and match specific bans rather than the macro. And interesting ban that they take out the Maiev, and that is going to give Genji over, which is a very highly contested hero between these two teams, and it's going to go over to Freelo this time around.
I gotta say, the resets, we could be looking at a double reset composition right off the bat. I mean, that is definitely something we could see here. You get a nice, strong front line. You get that Blaze. You get it like an Arthas. It's very, you know, very sustained, kind of tanky heroes. You grab a great healer on top of that, and then you just get reset after reset with the Li Ming and the Genji. I think that works great here. We'll have to see if they play into that. But on the side of a Greek economy, starting this out, they could prioritize the Blaze, but they'll go ahead and grab that Malfurion. Do they grab their tank on top of it?
For the deny.
This makes sense. This makes sense to me.
Yeah, it is going to be the Johanna. I like the Malf for the deny. Genji really likes to have Malf as a healer behind him to just get that Q and then be able to dance all over the enemy team while he's getting the heals from the Moonfire. But we are going to see the Johanna. Very good sustain, very good zoning control, and kind of deters AA heroes, which is a big part of sustaining on any map. So we'll have to see if the members of Team Freelo want to go into that double reset. I do like that comp. Burst works really well against Malfurion, and this is not a map that's super heavy on the wave clear. You got to clear the waves out, but there's not really hardly any camps that push, only those top lane ones, and Li Ming does fine at clearing those out, unlike a lot of other camps on a lot of other maps. And the resets, like you said, can be super powerful on Volskaya.
Oh, okay. So I was actually, while we were talking about that, while you were talking about that, I was thinking, I was like, all right, you know, you've got that poke onto the Malfurion. What do you grab to make it worse? If I'm on Team Freelo, what do I draft to make it so much harder for them? And they don't see it currently, which is actually a little bit boggling to me. So they had just the Genji. They hadn't picked ETC Blaze. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, you could go Divine Dragonblade or Divine Mosh. Like, Mosh works great here. You can then have the Divine Shield for either or, and then you get a 4-man Mosh. There's one person who can interrupt it. Divine Shield, and you have Genji just Dragonblade the entire time through that. Damage being dumped on top of that. I would really, so I was expecting there to be an Uther ban from the members of a Greek economy, but they go ahead and take out that Phoenix. Not a bad ban either. I mean, the splash damage is really great. The AoE that you can do to teams on these really, really kind of clumpy areas is extremely powerful. But I'm a little worried. And we see the Jaina being banned out. It's something that we've seen on this map as well. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. But I'm just excited for Team Freelo. I think that their draft is really terrifying. We'll have to see if maybe they can see that before it unfolds, or if they'll be just taking something stronger on the side of a Greek economy.
Yeah, Uther definitely a good hero for divey heroes like Genji in terms of support. It does lack a little bit of sustained healing for this map, where you've got this big sustain map objective to fight over with this control point. But at the end of the day, you've got Genji, you've got ETC. You're pretty much all in anyway on the team fighting aspect.
Yep.
So I don't think it really matters that much if you have Uther as your healer. You're going to want to go in. You're going to want to fight and win quickly or leave anyway. So I think Uther could definitely work here. Meanwhile, I expect more of the same from a Greek economy. I expect them to play the sustained game, to pick a couple of sustained heroes here like Gul'dan or Lunara. Ooh, the Kerrigan coming out though.
Ooh, we are going to be getting some Kerrigan combos. I like this draft that's unfolding from a Greek economy. Now, on the side of Team Freelo, just jumping back to them, Genji, ETC, Blaze, I still say it's the Uther. And then I was thinking you could swap the Li Ming out for a Greymane if you wanted. You can get that dive onto the Hanzo with a go for the throat. And with Kerrigan and Malfurion being a little bit lower in health target-wise, you could definitely use the go for the throat, get resets, and really start to shred the teams apart here. The Hanzo Kerrigan, though, I feel like the Kerrigan, if played really, really well here, can shut down the mobility of Genji. If, as I was saying, if played well, though, that's the big thing. If they can maybe count cooldowns, if they can also just get setups, if they make sure that, Dash was just used, we can maybe lock down the Genji, burn him down, and then, really start to pick apart Team Freelo. That's the only way that I'm really looking at this. But their last two picks, we'll have to see how they're gonna kind of avoid that Kerrigan dive, as well as the Hanzo poke damage from the distance. Ooh. Ooh.
Maybe it's the speed that they're looking for to try and dodge the Kerrigan combo, but interesting. I feel like a Greek economy is kind of playing a lot the same of what they were playing last game, which didn't work out too well for them. They are making the adjustment with the Kerrigan on the front line to try and have something to dive in on the backliners. Kerrigan, a very good counter to Junkrat, and so I find it interesting that they want to play. Hi there. That they want to play the Junkrat into the Kerrigan itself, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see what exactly their strat is with this, and what their last pick is going to be. Probably more backline. Well, actually, no. It's a solo lane. They still need a solo laner on their side here.
I like the idea of picking up the Leoric here. I think into the ETC Blaze that could be strong, though. Last Rites could be really great. They have a bunker to kind of counter it, but if you wait for bunker, I still think Malthael actually could be chosen here too. Into the Blaze, that could be pretty strong. But we're going to get the meanest character of all is going to be Alarak, and I'm excited about this.
That's a very aggressive comp coming out from a Greek economy.
Oh, yes.
That's a lot of dive potential. That's a lot of isolation and CC. They are looking to get to the squishy heroes, and so I look at this now, and who does Genji try to dive? You know, it's got to be Malf or Hanzo, but Johanna, Kerrigan, Alarak, they can all turn around and answer to that dive potential by trying to take out the Genji. And then, you know, what are they left with? Junkrat, who's constantly having the poke on the back end. I think I like a Greek economy's draft a little bit more here. This was, of course, their map pick. So they were ready to pull something out here. And I think that they had this plan. See if they can execute it.
I get excited about Alarak games because I think Alarak is one of those heroes you don't see. I don't get to cast it very often, and it's also in a lot of the YouTube videos that you see. There's always like those crazy amazing Alarak plays where they get the 5-man pull and then they get the huge silence. But let's go ahead and find out here in just a second. We are going to be going into game number 2 between these teams. Let's get into it. On the left-hand side, we are going to be having Team Freelo with Richard Gere going to be on the Lucio, Tythel going to be on the Blaze, Hollis going to be on the ETC, Blackout going to be on the Junkrat, and Skygam going to be on the Genji.
And on the right, a Greek economy. You've got Cookie on the Kerrigan, Oscar going to be playing Hanzo, Olive Farmer on the Johanna, Decade on the Malfurion, and Bishop Mist on the Alarak.
All right, let's get ourselves into this as we have all 5 members going into mid lane for this nice meetup, waiting for that minion wave to crash here as they just get vision and just some friendly, just checking out the lanes as they actually might even set up for a gank here in the top lane in Greek economy, but doesn't look like it'll be happening. They just split their Alarak into solo lane. They put their members into top there. It looks like they want to catch Team Freelo in their first rotation, but we have delay on, right? We have delay on? Yeah, okay, we have delay on. I was like, man, that is way too good, but it might be something that they might have caught in some of the VODs in the past for their games here, but we are in Volskaya Foundry, and we'll see as these lanes start to shape out. Bishop missed in the bottom lane. Solo laner from Team Freelo going to be in top, though. Interesting laning matchups.
So we will see, yeah, very interesting rotation. I think what Team Freelo is basically saying with this rotation is, we don't really want any part of this Kerrigan early. I think that's very smart. There's good setup. There's good follow-up routes from the Malfurion. A lot of damage coming in from Hanzo, which, you know, is very easy to get when the enemy team is standing still, and you can just target in that damage. And so right now they're looking to change the script so that they don't have to deal with this 4-man Kerrigan combo in the rotation game.
And I personally, you know, I'm just a gold player, but like I don't want to deal with Kerrigan combos. Like yes, you can sidestep them, but I do not have that trained mentally at this point. So I'm just like, oh well, there it is, and I'm dead because usually the rest of the team jumps on top of you from there. But we do have support camp going to be grabbed by the members of Greek economy, setting themselves up for this first objective, which will be popping in the next minute or so. I think it's actually, yeah, it's at the 3-minute mark. Ooh. That will be the first kill of the game, going over to the members of Greek economy. Cookie not looking too good, and that will be a trade.
Yeah, nice response here from Team Freelo. And I've always thought that this could be the rotation on this map. You look at the distance, obviously less distance between the mid and the top lane, but there's also the conveyor belt. The conveyor belt going up from bot to mid can help that rotation be a little bit faster on the way back. And so that kind of makes up for the distance difference. But we do see early camp prioritization, Team Freelo grabbing their turret already and now invading here. They did have that counter kill onto Kerrigan, so Kerrigan not quite here yet. Cookie will be here in time though, and it looks like they're going to be able to start a fight off this, even dropping their own turret to try and capture this.
They'll use one turret to get another, but they actually also pick up a kill onto the Joanna, and that's a great kill to grab as this point unlocks. They'll be able to leave Hollis on this, actually they're going to leave their Blaze on it, and that will be the first charge going over in favor for Team Freelo here, as they continue to knock them back. And the one thing I want to note is I don't think we talked enough about this in the draft. The Junkrat concussion mine on a map like this, where you are going to be getting some brawls over these enforcer camps or support camps, that's a huge asset to have, because there's really no big displacement outside of Alarak on the other team that I mean, there's Condemn, but it really doesn't pull them off the point. Like, they don't really have any sort of big, control for these camps at this point, and we're going to be seeing a little bit of an engage as the Iron Skin will be popped. Dive in from Title there, but not going to be connecting as Cookie gets a little bit of poke damage out as well.
Yeah, we talked about the ban of Garrosh because they didn't want that displacement. Blackout giving a lot of that with the Junkrat, and right now the skirmish is on, but already 87% on the charge, and the members of a Greek economy are getting poked down low, but so healthy is a Team Freelo. And of course, a Greek economy going to go ahead and realize that and try and get out. But Cookie is being chased down here by the members of Team Freelo. They're going to get another kill, able to isolate the Kerrigan once again, and able to take out the Queen of Blades.
Olive Farmer's going to need to be safe here, falling a little bit low from the Gatling gun from the Triglav Protector as they work down this front gate. This is often what we see. We actually lost Observer, so if you want to just lock to me, and I'll just go ahead and I'll do our...
I never wasn't, my friend. I never wasn't locked to you. But,
thank you. Yeah, we do have in the top lane. This will be the push. They're looking for that well, but they're not going to allow it on the side of Greek economy.
So we are going to see level 7 advantage here for Team Freelo, as they've gotten a little bit of a XP lead off of these kills. Now also getting these. We do see the quest completed here for Hanzo, so he's going to have a little bit more damage on those scatter arrows now. But again, the first Triglav Protector, not a huge advantage, but a lot of it is the XP in the kills, the denial of that turret early, to really be able to control a little bit more of the map pressure. But very nice stun combo coming out as they're trying to get the isolation, but nice escape here. Richard Gere with the extra speed can help them disengage, and along with that boop, so able to avoid that team fight and that CC combo for now.
I like this so far. They make that disengage. They're not going to be losing one over. That will be the next Triglav Protector, I think, popping up in very, very quickly, I think, because I think it's like a minute and a half from when the last one dies. We're going to be having camp rotations coming out. A little bit of a brawl, though, over the support camp in the top. Just some poke damage coming out, but they're not going to be able to steal this away anytime soon.
Yeah, I still like the prioritization here from the members of Team Freelo. They're going to end up grabbing 2 of these turrets in exchange for that biotic emitter. And at the end of the day, I think that that's a win. The heals are nice, but since they've changed it to more of a heal totem, I think that really the stronger of the 2 camps is the turret anyway. So to have 2 of those is going to be a nice advantage for Team Freelo as they head towards the level 10 and that control point up in the top lane.
I mean, at this point, having that 10 advantage, almost it's a 2-level lead comfortably, and realistically, it's going to be really difficult for them to kind of fight over this next objective, and that's the thing that I'm most worried about for them. And if on a map like this, I really feel like it does start to snowball, and if the objective pops up and they aren't able to get in there, poke on it, or anything like that, I don't know if this is just going to get out of control for a Greek economy, or if they're going to be able to kind of reel this back a little bit later in the game.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems is that they're on a bit of a clock here. Kerrigan is strongest in the early game, when she's able to get those rotations and get those picks. But you got to give a lot of credit to Freelo. They played the early macro very smart. They didn't play into the strength of the comps that a Greek economy has built. Now they've got themselves in the lead, and it's going to be difficult for Greek economy to wrestle this away. I do believe you're right about that.
And we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, they definitely can. Maybe, you know, Team Freelo, they might step a little far forward, but it's not going to be happening as they're continuing to poke some of these members out. We have Skygan going to be diving in here, going to get the reflect there, and the Riptide will be coming out as well. We have the Malfurion falling a little bit low. Excuse me, the Cookie falling a little bit low, as I do get locked into a minion, but Olive Farmer not going to be doing well themselves, and we are currently just seeing so many members low split across this map. I don't know who's going to end up making it out of this alive.
Yeah, everybody somehow makes it out alive. That's actually a massive win for a Greek economy. They do end up spending their biotic emitter, but this is going to give them the window to get 10. And now look at the heroic cooldowns. 3 major heroics down for Team Freelo, and they have to completely concede this point because the Greek economy now has all of their heroics available.
I love this play. They got so much out of that. We have the Blaze potentially getting, ooh, that would have been just a nice little pick for them just to really confirm this point. But as you said, they're gonna have to give this over, and it looks like this will be potentially a Trigger Protector going over for the members of a Greek economy.
Well, they'll have time. They'll have time to get up here. I think 50% on the cap. Genji grabbing another turret, so they're not gonna have 3 turrets in their possession. Stage dive is available for Hollis to rotate up here. That's why he's splitting out the furthest. They're going to rotate up. And now, actually, it's the members of a Greek economy that are going to have to get out of here. Olive Farmer should be safe on this point until the members get here. We'll rotate out, and now we'll see the blue charge up and start getting a little bit of their own percentage here.
I do like that Olive Farmer just made the disengage. They didn't go, oh, I can get the last 7%, or, you know, anything like that. They were just like, you know what, back off. They can get the control point, that's fine, but we're not going to stagger a death. Though I will note that Team Freelo, they're on the cusp of 13s here. They're going in for this fight. They want to get onto the Genji. They're trying to shut them down as best as they can. There is going to be the stage dive in from Hollis here. We have the... We have Cookie doing so much damage here that will be actually Kerrigan falling very, very early in this fight. And that also will be Olive Farmer doing the same. No, actually going to be getting the reflect. That will be the Joanna falling in this situation as they continue to push in further, Jason.
Yeah, they dive in behind the turret that ends up tanking the shots. But Skigum gets the protect at the last second. And it's going to be able to get the beat out. Oscar maybe looking to try and interrupt it, but now Oscar's in kind of a bad scenario. But you got to love these plays from Team Freelo. Just ridiculous amounts of game knowledge being dropped here in these plays. Taking every advantage, every inch that a Greek economy gives them. They get the 13s. They get the team fight advantage in top. 8-1. They're taking, and again, in this game, they get those advantages, and they're going to turn them into confirmed structure damage.
This is, you said it perfectly. Confirmed structure damage. They've got 14-11. They can push this as hard as possible. This is, I talk about this here and there in some of the games that I cast, and I'm just like, you've got a 3-level lead. You've got the objective. Push in, take some aggressive fights. If they try and fight you this low down and with this kind of power behind you, it's really risky, and they're going to try and poke out. Maybe you get them to step a little too far forward, and that's when you make your advantage, but you need to make sure that you don't do the same as Bishop Miss was trying to pull a couple members in on that Alarak, but that will be the first keep of the game, going down at about 11 minutes in here as they now make this retreat 15-11 or 15-12. They're going to rotate into mid. Actually, I would expect them to maybe rotate into bottom and try and prep that lane for the next Triglav Protector, because I think this one... nope, they go for the more experienced.
Well, you know, it's on the way. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's on the way.
You might as well just grab it. You've still got a few seconds. Probably not enough time to rotate down. Hollis does slide back, may actually pay for it here. That's going to be a pick on the ETC. Olive Farmer going in with the Condemn as they're trying to get more, but the rebuttal coming out here from Team Freelo. They're going to avenge their cow with 2 kills of their own. Still overall in XP, not a bad exchange for a Greek economy, but fighting into the 4-level disadvantages is pretty rough.
2 talent tiers, 4 levels. It is a rough match. It's you really need to turtle up, and with this map kind of being a little bit bigger than Tomb of Spider Queen we just saw. Actually, Skygan going to be diving in here onto the Hanzo. Oscar gonna make it out just fine. There was the root just in case they tried to jump over that little thing to go for a little bit of extra damage on the Hanzo. Nice safe play coming out from Kerrigan there. But once again, Team Freelo, they're going to go ahead. They'll make rotations, grab camps, grab items to buff themselves for the point C. And we are just going to be getting these smooth rotations coming out. And overall, I got to say, I really like the plays coming out from Team Freelo. It's really well calculated. They're playing these maps extremely... I don't know, they're playing them in their favor, if that makes sense. Like, they're constantly getting their way, and I don't know how Greek Economy can stop that. They just keep getting every fight they want, engage they want, and kills almost they want.
Yeah, definitely dictating the pace of both Game 1 and Game 2. Greek Economy's got to figure out something that they can change to show some signs of life here and try and get back into the series, even if it isn't in a win in this game, even if they can just get some sort of momentum going towards the end. We're going to see the Blessed Shield coming out. The stage dive is going to get Hollis safely away from that Kerrigan combo from Cookie. And the 4-level lead continues. And you mentioned it earlier, prepping for the bot lane are the members of Team Freelo as they get ready for Control Point C.
And yeah, getting these lanes prepped for the objective is probably the best thing you can do at this point while you're this far ahead. Yes, you can step up. Yes, you can go for more keep damage, but you're putting yourself in a potentially losing situation. If you step too far forward, Alarak gets a great combo onto one member, and then you start to stagger some deaths, or they get some momentum on you. That can be the shift that they need. It doesn't take much in Heroes of the Storm to kind of cause that rubber band effect. So I really like what they're playing here on the side of Team Freelo. They're making safe rotations. They're not clearing too far up in the lanes, though it does look like they want to take a fight here as they are going to be invading onto Cookie. The dive goes in from Tytho here. They go ahead and they get the X-Strike onto a couple members. They're willing to break it down as well. Riptail are going to be coming out from the Junkrat. Going to be getting some damage here. Decade falling so extremely low, but behind that gate will be fine as Olive Farmer is separated from the team, and I think this is going to be the Johanna falling.
Yeah, definitely in the wrong part of town here on the Johanna. Even Johanna can't walk away from that mess. Decade also out a little bit too far now. Oscar's going to end up going down to that Junkrat auto over the wall, and even popping out the bunker here to try and get more pressure. They're actually going in for the win. Cookie, the sole defender left for the members of a Greek Economy. That is just not going to be enough. They're not going to be able to defend this as the core falls, and game number 2 is going to go over decisively once again to Team Freelo.
GG. Well played. As the stage dive comes in as well. These teams, I don't know. I don't know, Jason. Are we going to get a game 4? Like, not to BM anyone here at all, but Team Freelo, they're playing out of their minds. And if I'm on Greek Economy, how do you look at this and go, all right, we just need to do this one thing to bring it back? Like, what do you do to bring it back? Do you need, is it map pick? Because they just tried that and it didn't work. Do you go for some cheese comp? What do you have any ideas here?
I don't think you're being unfair to anybody, Bahamut. I'm an honest caster. I'll call it as I see it. Right now, Team Freelo is putting the beat down on a Greek Economy. They've got to make some adjustments. They've got to figure out some way to try and throw Team Freelo off of the superior game that they're playing right now. There's just no other way. There's no nicer way to say it. They're playing better right now. They're performing and executing as well as I've seen them all season. And this is a team that my team scrimmed a couple of weeks ago after the second round of the playoffs, and they beat us at all 4 of those scrims. We did not even, we competed with them. We made them earn it, but, it kind of reminds me of these last 2 games. They would eventually get some sort of advantage on you. They would exploit it, and then in the late game, they would just drive away with the win, with the top down, the hair, just looking all good. And these guys are riding their way to a Div A title tonight, and I don't know if anything could stop them and cause this reverse sweep. But, a Greek Economy, they got one more shot to figure it out, and I won't count them out. They're the A East champions for a reason, and these guys are smart. I would say smart cookies, sorry. But they're a good team, and we'll see what they have in store. This is the part of the series where there's no reason to hold that pocket strat back. You might as well leave it all out on the table because this is your last shot.
That is true. 5 minutes. Roughly. All right, I do need to. The teams actually reminded me because I was ready to go into game 3 already, but the teams were like, so how long is this thing? So we are actually going to be getting. Let me go ahead and just DM them really quickly. In here, please. Oh, he literally was messaging me as I was messaging him. So we are going to be joined by Archangel in just a second. He's in here, and he's going to be telling us about a off-season event that the Nexus Gaming Series will be producing.
Hey, thanks for having me, Baja, and good cast tonight, by the way. And to the man behind, the scenes there, Foundrith, as always, thanks for everything you do, my man. Jay's on, great job as well. Good to see you. So I wanted to come in here tonight and announce that a lot of people have been wanting an off-season event, right? So we've actually been working with a gaming community called the Art of Warfare for the last 2 months, and we're going to be hosting a tournament for them, the Tall Open 2, which will be open to the Tall community and the NGS community specifically. Now, this tournament is going to be a weekend-long tournament over the July 14th, 15th weekend. It is open to all teams of any skill level. It will be single elimination all the way up to the semifinals, and it will be 32 teams max. So our goal is that we wanted to give you guys a fun tournament, work with other communities, kind of spread the NGS name, and we've definitely heard your feedback. You guys wanted something during the off season. So it's first come, first serve. We're going to post the tournament link. Signups open tomorrow. If you're interested in getting your team in, you have to have 5 people to sign up. You can only have a max of 6 people because this is going to be a 1 tournament weekend. We're not really going to be doing a ton of subs like we do in our normal NGS seasons and league. So if you're interested, come on in. We're going to have the cast set up on their streams. We're going to have multicast going at the same time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you want to hop in this tournament, we'll post the link in Twitch chat, and you can sign up starting tomorrow for the Tall Open 2 hosted by NGS. With that is the big announcement. I hope you guys are excited about it as we are. We put a lot of time into planning this. A big shout out to our community and a big shout out to all of our peeps as usual, our casters, our staff. They do everything for us, like Muhammad and Jay's on here taking these finals that, it's a long night of casting. I definitely appreciate it. I know the rest of the admin team appreciates it. With that said, thank you so much, everybody, and I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for the announcement. And we're going to get back into this because I'm itching for already game 3. I know, Jason, you are as well.
Oh, for sure. This is going to be, like I said, it's going to be very interesting to see what adjustments we might see come out from a Greek economy. And if Team Freelo will keep on doing more of the same here, or if they've maybe got anything up their sleeve to try and close out the series.
True. We're going to go ahead and swap it back over to our cameras. We'll take away the scoreboard here, and I'm going to get ourselves set up for this game 3. I cannot wait for this. I already know the map. I already know. We are all set. We just need to get the lobby. We need to get the lobby underway, and then we're going to be going into our game 3. I'm itching for this because it's Infernal Shrines. It is definitely a map where you can really test some people, and I don't know. I think this is such a strong and fun map to take a team.
Yeah, this map very much dictated on the plan and the execution of the plan. That's really, I guess that's pretty much any map in Heroes of the Storm, right?
True, but I get what you're getting at, though. I do get that you're kind of saying, you have to draft. I wouldn't say draft for this map, but there are aspects that you do need to consider, and if you don't draft them properly or execute them properly, that is where it really, executing the plan, as you said, it just can fall apart because Infernal Shrines is a really, really, I wouldn't say snowball. It kind of falls in the same areas as what we had on just Volskaya just now, where the teams, they need to fight around these points that are actually really, really tight, as well as, getting value from the Punisher on top of that.
Yeah, these map objectives, these shrines, they're on a definite timer. Not quite as literal a timer as we had on this last map. But, you get these shrine minions. And if you get a good lead, at some point you might have to concede and just, try and gain experience and advantage elsewhere. Unlike on the last map we were on, Volskaya Foundry, these early Punishers, are still a little bit lacking in terms of what advantage you can really gain from them. If you get a fort off of the first Punisher, you're doing pretty good for yourself with that map objective. And so it's not at all an uncommon strategy for teams to look to split push, to do the global, to do the macro game, and try and gain advantage elsewhere and essentially give up that first objective. But we'll have to see. Again, it's right, like you said, right from the beginning of the draft, you can start to plan out what strategy you're going to do. And then it's a matter of who employs their strategy and their comp better. And there are a lot of different ways to do that on Infernal Shrines. It's not a one simple strategy kind of map, like, say, a Battlefield of Eternity.
That is true. Because with Battlefield of Eternity, you definitely can kind of, I wouldn't say run it down the lane, but we have seen teams actually do that, where first, Immortal goes down top lane and that's the end of the game, sub 10 minutes. And it's just like, well, okay, game 2, here we go. But yeah, in Infernal Shrines, there's definitely a lot of strategy. Our fifth is, okay. So they're currently getting the last one. We did say that we were going to take like 5-ish minutes for that last announcement. I think it went a little bit quicker than expected, but we're going to get this last member in here and we're going to get ourselves going for the next game. Sorry, I'm skimming through Twitch chat, making sure that we didn't miss anything. Oh, okay. They're talking about the registration is on June 21st. Okay. Cool.
I'm pretty excited. I wonder if there's room in this tournament for a B-Div championship team.
I think I did see like someone in Twitch chat was just like, oh, is there room for can they do an all caster team? And I'm like, do you really want to watch a bunch of us run around try and play the game? Like,
do this. You play Asmo.
That's it. Just don't ban Asmodan. We're good.
Oh god.
All right, let's see. We got the team saying that they are ready to go. I'm going to hit the start button and let's get going into our third game here. Let's go to Infernal Shrines and can Greek Economy make a big effort and take this to a game 4, or will Team Freelo shut this out and take the Division A Grand Championships?
Yeah, all signs point to the latter at the moment, but we do see the Genji banned out. So again, the prioritization here from Freelo, not wanting to let Cookie have his patented Genji. Most of these comps seem to be built around the star player from a Greek Economy, Cookie, and he's played a lot of Genji through these playoffs, and also, well, it's been a high involvement rate. It's either been banned out from him or he's played it and he's looked very good on it. But it does open up the Garrosh once again. And this is another map where that isolative tool and that big threat and zone potential can really have a big effect. And Garrosh is definitely something that you want to have in your tool bag, or you don't want to see it on the other side of the battleground.
That's a really good point. And then I had also talked about in the first draft for the Tomb of the Spider Queen game, when they first picked the Garrosh in that game too, I was skimming through drafts while I was eating dinner tonight, and Garrosh is a high priority for a Greek Economy. And I'm not the biggest stat buff, but I was like skimming through and I was just like, that's a lot of Garrosh. And so, yeah. Hey, if it works and you get it, definitely play it. But we do get a Maiev. It wasn't banned out. We actually had that Blaze ban out. So I do... And that was the other thing, too, is a Greek Economy, they banned out Maiev often, and Team Freelo, they banned out Genji often. And it's one of those things that it seems like Team Freelo, they either want it or they ban it out. And we get a Junkrat. Ooh. Double displacement. What do we get, though, to round this out, Jay?
That is, a very scary proposition. The side of Team Freelo is going to have very good positioning through this game. And Karazim coming out as well. So good gap closing potential on the Karazim. Good follow-up potential to be able to get some good spike damage onto a displaced target from one of these two heroes. And I do like the adjustment of the Blaze ban, to be honest with you, because a lot of these have been, isolate one hero and try and blow them up, or try and get some kind of wombo potential from a Greek Economy. And one of the biggest counters to that has been the Blaze and the Bunker. So we've seen that used in both games by Team Freelo to kind of deny what a Greek Economy is trying to do. So they're going to go ahead and ban that out and say, okay, well, beat us with something. If you're going to beat us in a third game, beat us with something different than what we've had in the other 2 games.
Okay. Man, they take out that Gul'dan though, and I actually I'm just trying to I was just like, man, they took out Gul'dan because I was gonna talk neither of these teams have really big clear on the shrines, and that's one thing that we did see in game 1 from Team Freelo. They picked up that Gul'dan very early in their draft. I think it was they did Malfuri and Gul'dan together in the 1-2, and it paid off really well for them because we saw Gul'dan get a ton of value. So on a map where you definitely are going to be getting these skeletal defenders, you're going to need some sort of clear. You're going to need some poke damage. The Horrify, the Corruption, the Fell Flame, all of that is way too much. They don't want to deal with it again. I like that ban out, but that does open up avenues for things like Jaina, Phoenix, Kael'thas. Phoenix on this map, I think, with the Maiev can get a lot of value. And then you can maybe run a Leoric in the solo lane, and we see some other thing. Okay, so we'll get the Sonya for the solo lane, but we will be getting a Diablo.
I wonder if this is going to be a Kael'thas here from Freelo. We've seen Blackout play Kael'thas a few times in these playoffs. He's very good on this map and good follow-up and combo potential with the Maiev and the Warden's Cage, but Valeera coming out. So this is what a Greek economy has been holding back, this Valeera comp. I do not believe that this is the first time we've seen this from a Greek economy this season in these playoffs. I'd have to actually check my notes, but
that's interesting though. I'm
also good follow-up. Double hook, sort of, right? Garrosh is kind of the new Stitches. So now they have both of those heroes for this game.
Okay. I mean, it's like triple displacement at this point.
Yeah.
The only thing, though, I'm worried about is that means Sonya's going to be soloing into Stitches, and I feel like that's going to be a very, very good lane for Sonya, and I'm a little worried about that. Now, the Valeera, I've seen, so in, the Heroic Division, I've seen Macro Trash run it, and they run it as an anti-dive comp, where basically they let them come in, and then they punish anyone who dives in a little bit far with that Valeera just to kind of shut down that damage. The moment one person comes too far, then you just, you dive onto that one. We'll see if it's utilized in that way or if it's just going to be kind of a roaming utilization around the Stitches, around the four-member rotation. But this last pick, Jaina, I really like this. I think it rounds out the draft for Team Freelo very, very well. It combos well into the Diablo as the rest of the team. The only reason I say that is, in comparison, it feels like there's going to be so much displacement. There might be some anti-synergy between a couple of the members on the side of a Greek economy. I'm a little bit worried about that.
Well, basically what they want to do is they want to get the Garrosh up there so he can throw him back into the Junkrat bomb, into the Stitches hook, and just take them all the way back to the keep. I don't know, but it's going to be very interesting. To your point, I think they've got multiple tools here to try and catch somebody out. Diablo, though, and Sonya on the front line, it's going to be kind of difficult to get past this front line. Even then, Maiev also good displacement on the other end. Jaina very good at divey heroes. So we'll see if they have what it takes to execute this, but I don't think it's going to be easy here, Baja.
Well, let's find out in game number 3 between these two teams. On the left-hand side, up 2 games, potentially going to take the Division 8 Grand Finals. It is Team Freelo with Blackout going to be on the Jaina, Tythel going to be on the Sonya, Hollis going to be on that Diablo, Richard Gere going to be on the Malfurion, and Skygum going to be on the Maiev.
And with their tournament lives on the line, a Greek economy with one more shot at it. We've got Cookie on the Junkrat, Decade going to be on the Karazim, Olive Farmer on the Garrosh, Oscar going to be playing Stitches, and Bishop Mist on the Valeera.
Let's get into this as we have a slow... Oh my god, I have not seen this since Cloud9 was a team. We actually have the body blocking of the minion wave to slow it down.
Game.
Oh my god.
Second game they've done that. They did it last game.
Oh really? I didn't even notice.
They didn't really get much out of it. It's a little bit further to the left.
So the whole thing with this is basically, I think it crashes the enemy minion wave closer to your gate, so it's a little bit safer. And with the Valeera, I kind of like that play as well as the Stitches, but that is going to be a hook, toss, and a kill. Greek economy coming out in the start of this game for blood.
There it is. We're going to have Junkrat up in the top lane against Tythel on that Sonya. Should be an interesting matchup here for Cookie. Also interesting to have Cookie on the solo laner in general. I kind of expected it to be Stitches, but they got him rotating. Another toss and now another kill. 2 early kills here for the side of a Greek economy, and they're not here to play games. They're here to just get those kills in game number 3.
And that is definitely a really, really good start for them to kind of establish this dominance, set a pace and say, you know what, this is the game we are coming out. Not that they weren't for the other ones, but this is the game they are basically like, look out, because don't overstep this time, because we're going to be really, really punishing you in this situation.
Never underestimate somebody who's got nothing to lose. Right now, that is basically what we're seeing from a Greek economy. They're playing aggressive. They're rotating very aggressive without a care in the world. They know that this is it. This is their last shot at it. And another kill. Diablo goes down, and that's a very nice kill. You know, you say, oh, that's just a tank. But Diablo in this early game wants to be out in lane, wants to be getting these souls stacked up to try and get some momentum going into the first map objective. But now they're forcing him back into the Hall of Storms, and it's going to be just that many less minions he can get for those souls early in the game.
I don't like. My jaw's kind of on my desk. Like, I'm looking. This is not the same team we saw game 1 and game 2. I really, really like this aggression. I like the play, the rotations, the communication between them has almost been seemingly amplified here as they're playing this aggressive, but they're playing it smart. You can see they're playing around these bushes. They're looking for specific picks. They get the toss and the hook, but that is going to be the blink right out. They were able to get that in just the last second, so they didn't get dove on. And that's a big thing too. Losing the Maiev right before the shrine activating, that wouldn't have been the best thing for Team Freelo here. And I'm glad that they were able to save that, as we will be getting all 5 members matching up on this first shrine.
I will say this much though, you know, Freelo, again, both of these teams very smart. The response from Freelo is that they're not going to be out in lane too much. They're not going to be out where they can get picked excessively. They do give up 3 kills there, but now you can see they just have no interest in going anywhere near a Greek economy. They're just going to wait until they get to level 10s, look for it later. But Hollis actually gets hooked. The hooks are just insane right now from Olive Farmer. The follow-up is there. Does he get out? He does.
Oh my god. Richard Gere with those clutch saves for their Diablo. Sonya in the backline getting some damage onto Bishop Miss as they're starting to invade this a little bit. Maiev not going to be using the blink to get a huge Umbro Bindo and a couple members. There will be the root right underneath them. They get the kill onto the Junkrat, and it's a follow-up kill onto Garrosh there. They start to back out on Greek economy, but the members of Team Freelo are looking for blood.
Hook out, toss out. You know, they're able to avoid getting displaced from the grenade there and get the early kill on the Junkrat. And just like that, Team Freelo smells blood in the water. They get in, get a couple kills themselves, and a Punisher that I thought was 100% secured already for a Greek economy now is going to go over to Team Freelo, and now they can start that same snowball they've been working on the first 2 games.
And that's kind of the perfect way to put it. They always try and set themselves up really, really early in these games. I love this play from the Sonya here, grabbing this camp, really aggressive, saying, you know what, the first Punisher, it'll get some damage here, open up the lane a little bit for us. We can try and poke on that, but they're utilizing their Sonya to get that solo camp, push into that top lane, create consistent pressure, and that's a really, really good play from the members of Team Freelo here to just play that macro. The way that it looks to me is that they're accepting the... Oh, I've just punched a glass of water almost. All right. I like to punch a glass of water. I was going to make my point. But the macro play is, I think, going to be outdoing the micro play. And I think that's what they're going to be going for on the side of Team Freelo is they're like, all right, we're going to get blown up individually if we keep playing this the same way. So let's just out macro them, take the lanes, and that's exactly what I'm talking about, where they lose their Jaina there. They do get the friendly toss on the Bishop Miss. But my whole point is play the macro game to outdo the micro game.
Yeah, Oscar still effective with these hooks, you know, and the toss on the Skigum as well. Oh, the nice dodge there. Bishop Miss also very low. And this is what a Greek economy's got to do. They've got to still play this patient. They can't afford to be caught out in lane, and they can't afford to get too cocky with this strategy. They get the hook, they get the kill on Jaina, but they can still lose with the comp that they have 4v5. So they need to be willing to back out of that situation, wait until their cooldowns and their isolative tools are back up, and then go back in once they're ready.
I was like holding my breath. I was like, do we get does Olive going to be stepping up onto Hollis here? But the other thing to note too is Diablo is becoming stronger and stronger with those souls. And I do believe you mentioned that earlier in the game here. And with the full stacks that they're currently sitting at, it's only going to become harder for them to really play the aggressive game that they were at the start here. The other thing, too, is we have the Bonds of Justice from the Maiev, who's currently sitting at 8. Might be getting more, but unfortunately won't be happening as they got the... Actually, no, finishing the quest, but dying. As Olive Farmer getting so low here, will Hollis be able to finish it out? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, Hollis also getting more tanky with those Fire Stomp talents that he's got now at 4 and 7. So it's going to allow him some more self-heals. If he does get isolated out, he can just throw out that Fire Stomp. Should be fairly easy to hit when he's in the middle of their team already. And get a little bit of extra sustain. And allow the members of Team Freelo to respond. But bottom line is that they're heading towards these level 10s. This is the point in the match where Freelo knows that they're going to start to get an advantage is post-level 10. So you can expect them to get fairly aggressive right after they pick this up, and it's going to be just in time for this top shrine.
So it was really I just wanted to note something really quick. We can't see it here because once objectives are complete, it doesn't show numbers. But actually, did you notice that Bonds of Justice is actually uncappable? Or it's uncapped? Like it actually will go beyond just the number of stacks. Like I just hovered it now, and it doesn't show that it went over. But I've seen other streamers who are playing it. They're like, wait, why do I have more Bonds of Justice stacks than possible? So I don't know if it was a bug, but it was interesting. I think it was Marsha's stream I was actually watching where he was just like, wait, I'm above the. I think he had like 18 stacks, which was weird because I think it caps at 15.
Interesting.
But either way, yeah, we'll have to test that later. But we do have 10s achieved as well as the next shrine activating. And Jay, they're utilizing this Riptire for zoning.
Yeah. Just waiting on it, giving it plenty of time. But now the Riptire is down, and here comes Team Freelo. They come in. Cage is going to go down. Huge lightning breath, getting all kinds of value. The ring, not really finding anybody. But the leap comes in from Tithel, and that's going to be a triple kill here for Team Freelo. They can smell that A Division championship, and they're going in after it right now.
I was talking about Bonds of Justice talents, and I saw that Sonya picked leap, and I'm just like... All right, we'll talk about that in a second. And then, literally, as you're saying it, just that leap into the backline to get those two. Oh my God, that was such a great play. And they actually get the Bond of Justice onto Cookie here, getting body blocked by actually the support. And that will be another kill going over in favor for the members of Team Freelo. And you said it earlier, this is the momentum that they build and they kind of survive off of. I mean, they really, really play well when they have this big wave behind them. And even early game, they were able to kind of come back from getting picked off consistently throughout the early game.
Yeah, so many clutch plays from Richard Gere in this game. Most of them on the support role in general, but that one, the body blocking, is great. You know, the auto attacks from Malfurion are not going to be what secures you that kill. So instead, just using his mobility, especially from that level 1 talent with the extra speed that he's got to get a little bit of extra body blocking out. But we do see the rotation to the top. Frozen Punisher as it does jump back, and it looks like the follow-up might be in here for Freelo as they rotate up.
They get the kill onto the Kerosene. They trade out the Jaina. That is going to be Olive Farmer getting the taunt, and that also will be the Future Bow coming out from the Stitches. The silence is there, but they go ahead and they chase this out, and that will be Olive Farmer and actually Oscar going to be able to get out of here. They do lose their Garrosh, but they lose their fort as well, 13-11, as the members of Team Freelo are going to be pushing onto this keep front gate. I don't think they'll take the keep, but they definitely will open up this map a little bit more for themselves.
Yeah, 2-for-1 exchange, which is not really what Freelo was looking for, but it does give room for John Cena to punch the walls a bit. But Skigum is actually caught out here, but is able to port out after the vault there, and that's going to be 7-sided strike wasted trying to get that pick. Level 13s are here. The engage is big. Hollis even willing to grab Oscar and put him back onto the point to try and isolate him out here. The Warden's Cage, and once again the lightning breath comes out. So many members low here from a Greek economy. The Blizzard is going to go down, and we'll be able to help finish off the Garrosh here as the double kill comes out on the front line. And just like that, Team Freelo got the camp, and they're going to be looking towards the keep.
They have this camp pushing in. They have 2 kills, and I think they will be able to confirm this keep, as you said. Now, the big question is, do they back off? Do they try and make a bigger play? It's 8 seconds till Garrosh and a couple seconds for Stitches right after, not even. Yeah, I think this is just going to be the keep. They back right off, and they'll be able to have this. This is actually a great play for Team Freelo. They'll have the being able to get out there just fine. But they're able to have the catapult pressure consistently in top lane, while the next Punisher will be in bottom. So they can play the next Shrine as slow as possible. They can poke into this, they can delay it out, and it will split the assets of a Greek economy, because someone will have to go back and deal with the catapult pressure that is just now spawning from the core of Team Freelo.
Now see, what I like to say about my play is that it's better to be lucky than good, but Freelo doesn't have to choose. They're both lucky and good. They get this very, very nice spawn in the bot lane, as you mentioned.
Oh.
But this is not something they planned out in the top lane. Bahalis is going to get tossed, but so tanky. Not even taking half of his health just yet. We do see the Junkrat popping out that Riptire. Does get a decent amount of damage on the back line, but once again, the Lightning Breath coming out. Ditch is the first to fall. On the backside, Bishop Mist is going to get caught, and Valera is going to end up falling. Olive Farmer so low. Tanky with the Garrosh, but 4-for-nothing exchange, and Team Freelo cannot be stopped in this match right now, Baha.
They can't, and I was actually looking at that Kerosene getting so low on health, and I was like, he's gonna have a dash out of there, and I look up in the top bar, and I'm like, Sonya's got leap, and then I just hear, oh, and she just smashes right into him. So definitely, yeah, they are utilizing their abilities very well here, and they're gonna be able to, once again, as I noted, they have catapult pressure in top, they have the camp pushing now in bottom that they actually were fighting over getting that clear, they have this camp in mid, they're gonna open up the lane a little bit more, push themselves further in experience. I gotta, like, I don't know what they can do on the side of Greek economy at this point to really kind of slow them down. It's a 3-level deficit between the two. They can't fight on this next Shrine. They can realistically poke a little bit, but this is, I think, going to be they're going to have to give this over.
All I can imagine is just the little snowball rolling down the hill, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's been pretty much every one of these matches for Team Freelo. And at this point, I think it's getting to the point now where that snowball might be too big for the members of a Greek economy to stop it. But we'll have to see. They've got the isolative tools. They've got the ability to try and get these picks. And, you know, again, don't underestimate somebody who's got nothing to lose. The hook does come out onto Tythel. They get the isolation on him. He's somehow still surviving in the middle of that big mess. And the ults come down. All the R buttons are popped. And, yeah, 4-for-nothing again. Ouch.
They tried to take that fight, and that was basically their options. They either, you know, poke and just let this come to them, or they take a fight, and they tried to, but the thing is, they clumped up so tight together. Sonya literally hit Alt and hit R and just self-leaped, got the stun. There was a huge Umbral Bind as well as the Warden's Cage that came out from Skygam there. That is just... I don't have the words to describe how quickly and how efficiently they just played that fight. Actually, effectively, and now they're going to be getting this bottom lane Mortar Punisher. Top lane was cleared out. They didn't lose any core health on the side of Greek economy. This is a big defense for them. They're really going to need to play this smart, as it looks like Team Freelo is going to push up mid and just create pressure in all 3 lanes.
Yeah, but right now, Team Freelo playing that game of choose how you lose. You got pressure in mid, you got catapult pressure in top, you've got the Mortar Punisher on bot, which, you know, everybody raves about the Arcane Punisher, but this Mortar Punisher, very good at sieging, and the jump over from Tythel as he's trying to imitate John Cena, but he's going to end up paying for it. I'm sorry, but they do see you back there, and they get the isolative tools, and that's going to be a big pick, and signs of life coming out here from a Greek economy. These guys are good enough to recognize a situation where somebody's overextended and capitalize on it.
They try and get the Putrid Bile out with the hook, and it's not going to be happening as Decade gets the dash right back. They're trying to chase this toss forward on to Oscar, as it looks like the Riptire is going to be sitting right around Blackout. Ring of Frost is going to be coming down with the Warden's Cage as well. Silence going to be out. Stitches is actually falling here. They lose the Valera as well, and they turn this fight around. They start to chase this back. Hollis is setting their sights on Decade here. That will be the kill onto the Kerosene. Olive Farmer not doing well themselves. Going to get pulled right back, and that is going to be another 4-member wipe, as the Mortar Punisher is just cleared by Cookie.
How did Team Freelo turn that around? They had such a good endgame, such a good chase potential here for a Greek economy. The GG well plays are coming out as the members of Freelo are going to the core, Baha.
They're already taking down the shielding. We have the zoom in on the core. Stitch is back at this time. Valir going to be back as well. They got a little bit of, a couple tools here, but that root will be going out for Malfurion. They just focus on the core. They want to take this Div A final, and that is going to be it. Team Freelo will be your Div A Grand Final champions.
Sweeping the series, doing it with style. Team Freelo out of the West, making it 3-0. For the West champions so far in this post-playoff or this post-season, and a Greek economy coming out, doing their best, but just not quite ever finding their footing in the series. But you still got to commend them for an amazing season. They are your Div A East champions, and I'm sure we will see these guys back again someday.
All right, we're going to quickly jump over into Lobby 1 as we do have an interview with Hollis coming up in a second. I will just pull us all right in there. Okay, all right, so they'll join us in just a second. And actually, they're going to be joining us right now. Hollis, how are you feeling after that 3-0? Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I feel really good. I've been trying to do this for a long time, like 3 years.
Well,
and we finally did it.
So is this the third year? So third time's a charm kind of thing?
Yeah, like me, Blackout, and Chase have been on teams since like 2016. And then I met Skigum and Tythel on 2+2 in NGS season 1 and 2, and then took season 3 off. And this was supposed to be like a meme team, and then we actually started winning. And so, yeah, like at first it was like we were in Cheerleague Division 3, and then we didn't even make playoffs, and then we made playoffs, lost the first series, and then the next team we won the first series and then lost the second. And then I joined 2+2, got the NGS Season 1 finals, and then lost. And then here
so
we are
close
now.
Every time. Well, how's it feel now that, after a season of working hard, I do believe you were actually even ranked overall between the two divisions. You were still ranked first seed. Can you talk a little bit about, like, what was your preparation for stuff like this, scrims? Can you just talk a little bit about what your team did?
Oh, man, I don't want to like disparage anybody, but I feel like we worked harder than everybody else. We scrimmed 8 to 10 hours a week. I probably put in 3 to 4 hours a week of research. Every single every single team that we played, I usually had not just a preparation sheet, but a preparation sheet per map. So we worked really, really hard, and I think that's why we won.
I mean, I gotta say, in the early game, they had some really, really good, ganks and stuff. And I just want to ask you really, I'll pass it over to Jay after this question. But in Game 3, they had that setup where they basically just had singular blowups. Was it just like, we need to get to a certain point in this game, or was it just playing around that factory? Can you talk a little bit how you kind of adapted to their draft?
Yeah, so the third game was the only draft I did not see coming. And basically, as soon as I saw it, I was like, we just have to survive till 10, and we win this game. Because they're so melee, Warden's Cage Lightning Breath is going to eat them alive. And then that's exactly what happened. We played the early game worse than we should have, but not bad enough to lose the game. They needed to snowball harder, and they were trying. And we definitely gave them chances we shouldn't have. But the first 2 games, I feel like we were pretty comfortable the whole game. But that game, the early game of Game 3, I was pretty scared. But I knew that if we made it to 10, we would win, and we did. And here we are.
Jay?
So you guys have this amazing playoff run. Tell me a little bit about your specific preparation going in against AGE and what you expected from tonight's series as you guys were ready to face up against them.
Well, we knew what maps we wanted. Specifically, we knew what maps we wanted to be first pick on, and then what maps we didn't want to be first pick on, and it was all around the Genji. Because both of our Genjis are really good. They play really unorthodox comps, like Maiev and Genji, or Alarak and Maiev, like crazy all-in stuff. And they've sort of been going away from that in playoffs. But other than that, feel like I pretty much had them figured out those first 2 games, and then they threw me for a loop the third game, but luckily we adapted to it.
You see the Valera come out in game number 3. Where are your comms like at that point? And you guys decided to pick the Jaina at the end of that, which seemed to work really well. But tell me a little bit about your guys' response to specifically the Valera coming.
Yeah, so it felt like all 3 games, it was like, okay, me and Tythel, the 2 tanks, we're not allowed to engage this game. That's sort of what it felt like. And that worked, so I guess that was the right call. But that's basically all the comms around it. I don't feel like Valera had as big of an impact as that Stitches Garrosh combo. That was pretty disgusting.
That was terrifying to watch.
Yeah.
And I was actually saying in draft, I saw a different in the heroic division. They were one of the teams that actually ran the Valera for exactly what you talked about. They were getting dove on by a team or teams in general, because I've seen them run it in another amateur series as well. And they'll just pick up that Valera, and anytime the tank or anyone steps a little too far forward, they can just shut that down and realistically kind of counteract the dive and any sort of setup or peel you can get. And I liked it, but unfortunately, as you said, like, it just didn't get the value into their combo. I think if they leaned completely into it, maybe with some sort of mage just to kind of really blow it up and then kind of get that snowball as you talked about, I think that would have been strong for them. But overall, between the 2 teams, you guys played a heck of a series, and it was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, we just really been on it. I don't even know how to explain why. I've been on competitive teams for like 2 years, and it always just feels like 5 guys like playing Hero League, and just something was different this season. We just did not lose in scrims. I think like our overall custom record is like 89% win rate. Just something really special about this roster happened.
Well, Jay, any questions before we kind of wrap up our interview?
I guess my big question is, what is next for Team Freelo?
We're pretty much keeping it the same as far as I know. We have to talk about it now, but the plan is to do it again next season, and I think that's going to be my last season, but we are going to do it one more time.
All right, bring it back one more time.
Sorry, I'm asking questions at the exact same time. I need to be not ghost dunk. All right, so before we let you go, any shout outs that you want to give, anyone that you want to just thank for the season, or any kind of closing remarks that you want to kind of
hold on.
Spiel out?
I actually have this prepared.
Oh, dang, the confidence.
Yeah, to be totally honest, I wrote an 1,800-word speech, but I'm not going to do it because it's just way too long.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
I'm not even kidding, I promise. Okay. All right, so shout outs. Andolphus, he was the person who got me into the game. Like, I was super burnout on League of Legends in 2015, and he was like, hey, I've been playing this Heroes of the Storm game from Dota 2. You should try it, because it totally pretty much got me over my frustrations of Dota 2, so wouldn't be here without him. Arate, my first team captain back in Cheer League Season 1. We were just, sort of playing around in Unranked. Actually, I don't think Unranked was around. Quick match, and he was like, hey, we should play this Cheer League thing. And then, I had no idea how far that rabbit hole was. But, here we are. Shambulance from FSU Crab Legs, he, subbed in for my first team back whenever I was really bad at the game and everyone that I played with was. And he, showed us what competitive shot calling and drafting was. And, I still literally remember it to this day, those couple of games. McNulty of T+2, he, took all my teams under his wing, even though they were always better than us, and, always scrimmed us and just beat up on us in a nice way and gave us tips. And then whenever I was ready to, quit the game, he, brought me onto his team, even though I probably didn't even deserve to be there, and then, made me a lot better of a tank player in the process. Piemaker, our sub, he literally turned our team around. We were actually doing really badly before the season. Blackout schedule made it so we could only play 11 p.m. and later, and we just weren't getting the reps in. And Piemaker came in and did the 9 to 11 shift, and it completely turned the team around. Average Joes, specifically Tax 1K and Random Task, they basically taught us Volskaya. That Volskaya game 2 would not have happened that way. We probably would have lost it without them 100%.
There you go.
Ember is the team mom. So she gets a shout out. Nothing really more to say other than she likes to leak our strategies. Okay, and then Blackout and Richard Gear, been playing with them for 2 years. Would never be on a team without them. They're great. Skegum and Tythel are getting to that level too. I appreciate my team a whole lot, basically. And that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the interview, and just thank you for the great games. This was such a blast to cast, and I can't wait to see you pop up next season.
Yeah, hopefully in heroic, as long as it's not too stacked.
Ooh.
But we'll definitely be back next season.
Well, thank you so much. You go have fun. You go celebrate, and have a great night. GG's.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. And so at this point, everyone, it is going to be wrapping it up for Jay and I, but don't go anywhere. We have more Heroes of the Storm content coming up. We have a Nexus Gaming Series streamer, Ghost Dunk. We will be raiding him over in a few moments here. But before we go, we just wanted to quickly plug our own channels and, thank you all for coming here. So Jay, where can people find you? What are you up to? Can you kind of give us a rundown of what's your activity like?
Yeah, I've been doing, of course, a lot of streaming for Heroes of the Storm for the last few years. You can find me over on my Twitch channel, Jason Hots, YouTube channel, Jason Hots, Twitter, Jason Hots. It's all the same. And yeah, getting into the video editing thing. So that's been a lot of fun. Make sure to check out my YouTube channel. You guys can definitely subscribe there, see what I'm putting out on a regular basis just for general Heroes of the Storm highlights and video editing and stuff like that. And, just want to say a big thank you to NGS, giving us the platform, giving us the ability to come out and have a good time playing the game we love in the best way possible to do it. And, the admin works so hard. All the casters are amazing and the players are friendly. It's a great environment. If you guys are watching this and you're not playing in NGS, I would suggest going and getting on a team. Try it out. I bet you'll love it. And thank you to you, Baha, for inviting me in here tonight. It's always a pleasure to cast with you. You are the best caster, in my opinion, in NGS. And
thank you. Appreciate
it's
that.
Always a pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And also just the silent behind the scenes and doing God's work for me, much like that Spider Queen in game 1 taking out that well. Philandrith was doing all of our observing. He actually handled all of the towers that you saw at the start of the games. I actually looked over and I think he was slowly filling this in. I was like, oh, thank you. Cause I looked over at 3/4 of the way through the draft. I was like, uh-oh, I haven't done any of this and it's been slowly adding up. So just really quickly, he did an amazing job of observing as well as just handling some of the background stuff that I was not paying attention to. So of course, just always have to shout out to production as well as the admins. You can find me at twitch.tv, Bahamut Gaming, or on Twitter at Bahamut Gaming, or on YouTube. Just much like Jay, both of our usernames are kind of underneath our faces here, and you can find us at pretty much all those links. Just thanks again so much to everyone. We're going to be rating over Ghost Dunk in just a moment. I can't thank you enough, and we'll see you next season for the Nexus Gaming Series. This has been Jason and Bahamut, and thank you so much. We'll see you later.